ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिके। So I would like to welcome each one of you for this Balaram Jayanti festival. It's a wonderful festival, very auspicious, and we've been hearing Krishna Katha for last so many days, few days. We had wonderful Jhulan Yatra. We heard about Balaram's pastimes or Balaram Tattva yesterday morning, today morning, and then again one more time we are hearing. But still, if I'm asked to explain who Balaram is, it's not easy. So we heard about the morning class that how Krishna expands himself and becomes Balaram. Maybe with a little pinch we can understand, because in material world we don't see somebody expanding. And you're sitting and another 2-3 are sitting next to you, from that side another 2-3. Doesn't happen. So when you hear somebody is expanding, not so easy to fathom. But when I was going through Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada says, Balaram is the counterpart of Krishna. So, you see, Krishna's disciple was Arjuna. Balaram's disciple was Duryodhana. Krishna wanted the battle of Kurukshetra to happen, and Balaram didn't want. So when Krishna didn't agree to his proposal, he went for pilgrimage. So that's somehow you can get it. But Balaram is not just someone who disagrees with Krishna, and just for the sake of having someone, Balaram was created by Krishna, who disagrees with Krishna. No. Balaram Tattva is far more deeper. And in the deepness lies the essence that Balaram always wants to serve Krishna. The only reason why Balaram has come is because Balaram's mood is to serve. Prabhupada explains this. Actually, we were reading this even Chaitanya Charitamrita, that there are two kinds of expansions of the Lord. One is called Swamsa, and the other one is called Bibhinnamsa. Swamsa, Swa-amsa. So the expansions who have got all the potencies of the Lord. They are all the Vishnu Tattvas. Whereas Bibhinnamsa doesn't have all the potencies of the Lord. They have some minute potencies. They are called the Jiva Tattvas. So Swamsas and Bibhinnamsas. To understand this, you can see, like, in this material world, people want to have family. We want to expand. Why do people want to have family? They want to carry the family name. They want to expand joy. A husband or a man looks for a girl, or a girl looks for a boy or a man, so that they can come together and share joy amongst themselves. Expansion of joy. Expand the circle of affection is what Prabhupada writes. Something similar to that Krishna does. He expands. And in one way, we have all come out of Krishna, a tiny little part, tiny gold particle from a huge gold mine, qualitatively one, but quantitatively not. Now, to understand this Balaram Tattva, I've been very strictly told I have to finish by 8. So I'll share something very, very interesting. I was meditating on this, and I thought some nice thoughts are there by Prabhupada. Prabhupada is genius. Actually, if If anybody gets this conviction, when Prabhupada has given this literature, this Vedic scriptures in so accessible format, one only thing that is needed is that one has to have complete faith on the Guru and the Lord in the same way. Once one reporter asked Prabhupada, which is the most important verse as per you? This question has been asked to Prabhupada many a times, and Prabhupada has given different answers in different circumstances. One of the times when Prabhupada was asked about this question, he answered, Yasya deve para bhakti, yatha deve tatha guru. Tasyaita kathitaha Krishna, tasyaita kathitaha tasyaita kathita prakasanti mahatmanaha. Yasya deve para bhakti, yatha deve tatha guru. One should have unflinching faith on Guru and Krishna. Unflinching faith. Then the imports of Vedic literature get manifested. It's a mystical process. But you need to have complete faith on Guru. Same faith as Krishna. Yasya deve para bhaktir yatha deve tata guru. Tasyaita kathitaha tasyahi katitaha artha prakasanti mahatmana. So this gets revealed in the heart. Vedic literatures are not easy to fathom, not easy. But one who has complete faith on his spiritual master, as good as Krishna, this gets revealed. Let's spend some time and understand. We had this beautiful verse in the morning. Let's repeat the same. From Bhagavatam, first canto, first chapter, 20th verse. Kritavan kila karmani saha ramena keshava ati martyani bhagavan gudha kapatamanusa kritavan kila karmani saha ramena keshava ati martyani bhagavan gudha kapatamanusaha kritavan kila karmani saha ramena keshavaha ati martyani bhagavan gudha kapatamanusaha. For the paucity of time, we will not chant. I will not ask you to chant, since we did this in the morning. We will go some very interesting things in this verse. Beautiful verse. Kritavan kila karmani. So the sages of Naimisharanya are asking Sutta Goswami, what activities did they perform? Who? The Supreme Lord, Keshava, along with Ramena. Ramena is Balaram. Kritavan kila karmani saha Ramena Keshavaha. What activities did they do? Krishna and Balaram together. Then there is a very beautiful word which is used. Actually, the beauty of Vedic literature lies when we see them little closely. So the word that is used is Ati Martyani Bhagavan, and Prabhupada has translated Ati Martyani as superhuman. If you just read this much, superhuman, we have heard about so many characters like Spider-Man, He-Man, Superman, or who? Captain? Amar, who's that? Some other character, okay. So we think like that, superhuman. But this is referring to the Supreme Lord. So whichever words I'm asking you to pay attention, we'll again come back to them towards that. Ati Martyani Bhagavan. Actually, who is Bhagavan for us to understand? It's not easy. I think Bhagavan means like also 2 hands, 2 legs, 2 eyes, 2 ears. We also had, looks like Krishna also has 2 hands, 2 legs, 2 eyes. Maybe he was having a flute, wearing different kinds of dress, long hair and things like that. Everybody is having 2 hands, 2 legs, like us only. But the word used here is Ati Martyani. Actually, the Vedic literatures sometimes, say something so bluntly, which appears like insulting. The word Martyani is used for all of us. Sometimes it looks like jarred. Hey, you, who's going to die soon. Come on, give me some respect. Martyani. All of us are going to die one day. So that is why the word Vedic literatures are using is Martyani. But the question is, can we avoid death? When sometimes you ask people, all of us are going to die, some people say, I don't care. Death, what is big deal? I'll die. Good. If you want to die, no problem. Whether we like it or we don't like it, whether we hate it, death is not going to spare us. There is a nice story in regard to this. There was one sculptor from Bengal. Anybody Bengali here? Bengalis are very intelligent. I mean, they're good at what they do, usually. So this Bengali sculptor was, be happy. So the Bengali, or Acharya is from Bengal, Srila Prabhupada, right? So this Bengali sculptor, he thought, he knew that his time has come to an end. He was an excellent sculptor. He thought he would hoodwink death. So what he did, he created look-alike like him, 6 other people. So there were 7. Instead of 1 person, there were 7 people standing, all in some pose. Like this, they were standing. My hand is shaking, but they were standing like this. So 7 of them in the middle somewhere. One of them was the real person. So Yamadutas came. They're looking, who's the one? We thought 1 person is supposed to die today. There's 7. They got confused. They immediately SMS'd Yamaraj, whatever way. I mean, convey. Boss, we are confused. Do something. So Yamaraj comes. Yamaraj comes and he walks. He passes through all those 7. One time he goes like this. Second time he walks, stops at one place and looks at that things which is carved and says, is some defect under the right ear. Moment he says that, the actual man who was hiding comes out, hey, there is no defect. What are you saying? Come on, go, let's go. Right? We can't dodge death. No matter where we want to hide, we want to do this thing, and we want to, do some kind of tricks. Martyani. Any doctors here? Anybody? No? Why do we die? What do you think? Okay, Madhav seems to have some answer. Yeah. Body is decays. Body decays. Okay. What does this mean? Body decays. I mean, there could be so many scientific reasons. We become old. Bodily life air goes away. Then disease, and then one day we die, or something like that. Maybe the science will have better explanation. And you can come up with so many explanations. But you know what Vedic literature say why we die? The Vedic literature say we die because we have taken birth. Jatasya hi dhruva mrityur, dhruva janma mritasya cha. Jatasya hi dhruva mrityur. Because all of us, we have taken birth, we are going to die. And the Vedic literatures, the goal is, how can we overcome death? And what is the process of overcoming death? No more birth. Don't take birth again. So the Vedic literatures tell us how we can overcome the process of stopping birth. And here, it is mentioned here, hey, by the way, what is the process of not dying? I mean, what someone is called when he says, I'm not going to die? What does that mean? Huh? Immortal. Or in Sanskrit, what is it called? Chiranjeevi, thoda, or kuch. Mar se related. Amar, right? Amar. Amar we have all heard. And where the Amar people live? Huh? What we have? Swarga Loka, right? We have heard that in Swarga Loka, whoever lives, they are Amar. But it is a false advertisement. All the advertisements in the world are actually false. Whatever they promise, there is a caveat, there is a condition apply always. So what exactly happens if somebody goes to heaven? Because we say it is, it's Amar Loka. So what happens if somebody has done a lot of pious credits, pious activities in this material world? he is promoted to the heavenly planet. So it is mentioned how it works in heavenly planet. It's like, for example, you have booked your vacation through a travel agency. So the travel agency has arranged for your pickup, your stay, and everything is arranged. So you reach your destination, somebody is standing with a placard, welcome so and so. So you say, hi, that's me. So, very nice, so please come. And then you go, there is a chauffeur and a nice car. So you just get inside this. You go inside that. Then you go to your hotel and everything, the room is booked and all, everything is taken care. Nicely you are staying there. Similar to that, something happens in heaven. When somebody goes to heaven, there is some welcoming party. Welcome, please come. Please come. Yes, our heaven. So many avenues of sense gratification. Apparently, they give one garland. Okay. The garland you wear, surprisingly, the garland has a very special characteristics that the garland, it never fades. It stays fresh. 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 7 days, and they keep telling you, always wear the garland. I mean, I'm just making up some things there, and it's not actually what happens in heaven, but something similar to this. So you are wearing the garland, and the garland is fresh, and you are going around everywhere, nice treatment, nice comfortable life, just sleeping nicely, enjoying. Somaras is there, you can enjoy the dance of Apsaras, everything is available. One fine day, you see that one petal has, it has become stale. So then you realize the next day, the second petal also has become stale. It's like, when all of us, we take birth in this material world and with lot of confidence, gusto, we are living life. Someday you realize in the mirror you are seeing, ये मेरा ही सफेद बाल है किसी और का है. I've become old now. The one old hair that you realize when you see, oh, things are changing. Something like that happens in the heaven. And one stale petal, then slowly you realize one flower is gone, another flower, and you have time till the time all the flowers are stale. The moment that happens, they throw you out. Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, Kshine punye martya lokam vishanti. The moment your pious credit is over, if you want, you can please take him away. Please. Otherwise, everybody will get disturbed. No offense, but Kshine punye martya lokam vishanti. As soon as the pious credit is over, as soon as this has become completely stale, you are thrown out. So their record is 100% right. There is nobody dying there. But you are out. And you are out, and where you will be, you don't know. What will happen to you, you have no idea. There is one philosopher during Prabhupada's time, the disciples of Prabhupada told Prabhupada that this philosopher is telling that he wants to take birth again in his place of birth. Prabhupada says that's an animalistic consciousness. Why? You may take birth in the same place that you want to, but you don't know what body you will get. Prabhupada says, sometimes Prabhupada gives very graphic analogy and examples. So Prabhupada says, who knows, you can become a cockroach in the commode. So what body you will get, you don't know. So even though you are very attached, I'm born in America, nice facilities, clean road, no pollution, so many facilities. Take birth, but you take birth as a cockroach. So there is a risk. So here the word that is used is ati martyani. Beautiful words. These words, if you just meditate on this, we can learn a lot. Okay, some may question, okay, you people talk so much about death and death and death. What about you people? Are you not going to die? Is there, the devotees some kind of exception or something to this? Why are you saying that, you are not going to die? Or what is the difference? The difference is, one can know what is going to happen after death by the quality of work that we are doing in this material world. The nature of work, the quality of work that we are doing, that's why the Vedic scriptures are telling, read, understand what is going to happen. Kind of activities that we are doing decides. But the word used here is ati martyani. Ati martyani bhagavan. Ati, I was trying to search in the Sanskrit dictionary, and I found a very beautiful word for ati. Ati means to jump over. Like we see this verse in Bhagavad Gita which says, Daivi Hesha Gunamai Mamamaya Duratyaya Duh Ati Aya. Duh Ati. This is extremely insurmountable. It's difficult to cross over. So Ati Martyani, the activities of the Supreme Lord are Ati Martyani. They don't take birth and they don't go through the same process like old age, disease and death like all of us. It's Ati Martyani. Though Prabhupada is writing superhuman, but there's a lot of thing if you pay attention to those things. Ati Martyani, then Bhagavan. Bhagavan, who's full of opulences. So Naimisharanya, the sages are asking, Kritavan kila karmani saharamena Keshava. Tell us what activities these people did. Keshava, one side there is Krishna, and Ramena, Balaram. Who are they? Atimartyani. They don't take birth like us. They're Atimartyani. And Bhagavan, full of opulences. Gudha, mysterious. Kapatamanusaha. Kapatamanusa, they come, apparently it is looking like in some kind of disguise. Kapatamanusa. But in a sattvic way. And we will talk about that a little bit later. It's a very interesting thing. How many of you have read this book? Actually, I'm going to talk many things from this book. Fully. You read, huh? Wonderful book. Wonderful. It's a treasure house of knowledge and treasure house of pure, pristine love for the Lord. Wonderful book. So many wonderful stories are there in this. Actually, Prabhupada says if just one reads this book, he'll go back home, back to Godhead. Who wants to stay here and go through these problems of birth, death, old age and disease? How troublesome. Ask somebody who's old, who's lived life, and ask them, how is the life? How was the samsara? You'll actually hear the truth from them. There was nothing. We just struggled hard. We thought I'll get happiness like that donkey, a carrot which is kept at a distance, tied to him. And the carrot always moves. The carrot always moves as the donkey is trying to chase. So, how did I go there? Very interestingly, in this book, there is a family of demons which is mentioned. Bakasura, Aghasura, Putana. Bakasura, Aghasura and Putana. So these demigods apparently who consider themselves to be immortal devatas, this Aghasura, the snake demon, when it changed its form and it became a huge snake, it is mentioned, the demigods were scared. Arey, attack karega to kya hoga hamara? So they are not immortal. So it's a false propaganda that if you go to heaven, you'll become immortal. No. Atimartyani Bhagavan. So, Prabhupada in the purport says two words. Very interesting to see these words. And they are all, this Rasika, a person who wants to relish the spiritual science, he should just get absorbed in this and see these beautiful nuances which Prabhupada brings. So Prabhupada uses two words. One word that he uses here is the doctrines of anthropomorphism and zoomorphism are never applicable to Sri Krishna or the personality of Godhead. How many of you are hearing the word anthropomorphism and zoomorphism for the first time? It's good to say, that we don't know. His next question, okay, then what it is. Actually, anthropo means man. Philanthropy, we say, the word with the similar roots. So it's always good to go a little deeper into what Prabhupada is telling. Anthropomorphism. Morphism, in three-dimensional, there is a 3D printing that is happening. Morph is form. So anthropomorphism. The Lord who's like human-like. He was taken a form of human. Anthropomorphism. You would have heard some people say, in our, especially in our country, in India, so many kinds of beliefs and notions, right? So sometimes you'll hear somebody will say, our Guruji has become God now. So then you ask, kaise? How did he become God? Now Guruji did lot of severe austerity and then he became God. Actually, our intelligence should become, the batti jalta nahi na, jaise bolte hain, Sardar ji ka 12 baje band hota hai, ya jo bhi hota hai. Sometimes that tube light should glow. We should immediately ask, okay, he did tapasya, right? He did tapasya. So there should have been someone who's sanctioning him, the godhood, the whatever he became God. So that person must be God. How can he be God? Because unless somebody sanctions, because of that tapasya, like somebody who said recently, Mataji, I think she was going for um, her driver's test license, right? Somebody is sanctioning that license. That licensing authority, the RMB people, if they don't give the license, I can't drive. And if they want, they can cancel it anytime. So how can I say I am God when it is being sanctioned by someone? Though we don't question that. Aare baap re, tapasya kiya, bahut badhiya, bhagwan ban gaya, obeisance pe karke aa jate. These questions have this thing. So the doctrines of anthropomorphism and Jew-morphism are never applicable to Sri Krishna. Actually, in last 400-500 years, there's so many false propaganda about India that they worship snakes, they worship monkeys, they worship all kinds of things, and that's how somehow there is a misconception about who the Supreme Lord is. Jew-morphism are never applicable to Sri Krishna. I don't know how far it is true, but I've heard that there's a folklore which says Aurangzeb, or one of those Muslim kings, when they were trying to attack all the Hindu temples, they had decided to attack Srinivas Govinda temple. And they were about to attack the Srinivas Govinda temple, but one Muslim soldier told that, they worship some pig over there. There is a Barahadev temple there below the hill. And they said, they are worshipping some pig over there. What should we go and do? What will we do? So the king, apparently Aurangzeb, thought also, they are so abominable, they are worshipping pig and all. And apparently Barahadev saved Srinivas Govinda. But so the concept, the doctrines of anthropomorphism and zoomorphism are never applicable to Sri Krishna or the personality of Godhead. Talking about zoomorphism, there is a very interesting pastime which comes in this book, because I am very conscious of the time. Okay, this is another thing which we need to know. Why it is not applicable to Sri Krishna, and especially when it comes to youngsters, when you have to tell them about the Supreme Lord, they somehow don't believe. They don't think, why should we believe in God? Or how can I get that faith in God? There's a very interesting conversation which happens between Prabhupada and some of his disciples in Delhi in one of the morning walks. So Prabhupada was going with his disciples in a morning walk, and as you know, anybody from Delhi here? Wow. Okay, anybody has lived in Delhi? Okay. So Delhi, it gets quite foggy on various days in winter. So one of such days, it was quite foggy, the visibility was very poor, and Prabhupada asked his disciples, so why there is a fog? So there is one Swarup Damodar, one disciple of Prabhupada who is a scientist. He gave some answer. Fog happens because of this, that, some molecules, this thing happens, and I don't know what, any science student wants to say why fog is, whatever, you all know, right? Some scientific explanation he gave. So Prabhupada was walking and they were talking, and then suddenly Prabhupada turned back and said, this is all bogus. These are all word jugglery. If really you know why fog is happening, why can't you stop it? Can you stop fog? Can you do something so that the fog is dissipated completely? So Prabhupada says, this is the inconceivable nature. We can't conceive it with our mind. We can't conceive what it is. It is inconceivable. I'll give you a simple example. How often do you trim your nails? 2 weeks? Alternate week? Alternate week? Whatever. The frequency is not very important. It's not testing about that. But has anyone noticed in your nails, the little finger, for one of the times when you are trying to trim your nail, you saw that the thumbnail has come on the little finger. You trimmed it. Next time when you are seeing, in your little finger, instead of the little finger nail, it has grown disproportionately like to the thumbnail. Has it happened to anyone? No, it never happens. Don't say, just because I'm asking, you don't have to nod here. We never see. Little finger's nail grows like little finger's nail. Thumb's nail grows like thumb's nail. And it perfectly fits there. It's not like disproportionately it has grown. In our body itself, there are so many things which are happening which are inconceivable. Imagine a tiny little living entity like us with so many inconceivable things happening. Nature has got so many inconceivable things. The Supreme Lord, who's the creator of all these things, will have so many inconceivable things. We are not telling you just to believe. You believe in God. Now Krishna, Krishna, don't believe in God. No. Use your intelligence. Use your intelligence to see how Krishna is, how he's inconceivable. This whole material world is working in a very beautiful fashion. There is some kind of order in place. There is some kind of, it's not completely chaotic. So actually Prabhupada says if somebody reads Srimad Bhagavatam from first canto to ninth canto, he will understand the knowledge of God. He'll completely be convinced. And that knowledge is enough for one to get liberation. So then one should immediately think or ask, okay, you are saying first 9 cantos is enough, but is there any canto after that? What is it about? For example, what is the sweet today? Offer हो गया ना? अभी हो रहा है क्या? नहीं हुआ है offer. Assuming, okay, forget it. He doesn't want to share. There's some secret surprise for you. Assuming it is gulab jamun, okay? And all of you go there and to the prasadam honoring area. Nicely gulab jamun, hot, big size, kept there. And somebody is serving you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is going, and everybody is going in that. And then all of a sudden, when you are coming for the second serving, you see that one devotee has kept another pot which is fully covered. He's giving you gulab jamun, right? But your attention will go, उसमें क्या है? उसमें से कुछ नहीं मिल रहा है अभी तक. 10th canto is the sweet nectarian pastimes of Krishna and Balaram. It is an open invitation. Come and enjoy. You want to enjoy? You want to know what is the definition of enjoyment? That is there in the 10th canto Srimad Bhagavatam. Wonderful description. Unfortunately, we have no time, no knowledge, no information, and we are stuck. So then there is, another thing which we often get this question. I'm just trying to Atimartyani Bhagavan, and then we'll go to some 3 pastimes of Krishna Balaram from this book, and then we will end with that, hopefully, by 8 o'clock. There's a very interesting concept when these people, when they come and question us. अरे ये भगवान तो स्टोन का मूर्ति है ना आपका, स्टोन और मेटल मूर्ति, इसको आप लोग अभिषेकम करते हैं, you put so many milk and this thing, why are you wasting on that? Why are you wasting on this? Have you come across that kind of a question? So many people are poor, starving, so many problems are there, why don't you spend money on that? The people say like this. It's very interesting because these are all very core concepts. Atimartyani, to understand who Krishna is, who Balaram is, it's very difficult, and I'll come to that. That's why this Atimartyani Bhagavan is very important word which is used there. How many of you have traveled in train in India? Okay, you also took the train this time, no, when you went to Bangalore. Okay. So nowadays, do they have physical tickets or they do it in phone, online? Physical tickets are also there. Okay. I'm sure all of us, when we would have traveled, we would have had a physical ticket. Right. And how many of you have had this habit, or how many of you have seen that when we get out of the train, we just, after the TT has seen, sometimes they'll check it, and then after that we tear it apart, right? This thing, tickets. So if somebody sees, who doesn't know, who is apparently like one PK or something, alien from some other world, and he sees, they're tearing some paper, this thing. So he goes and he sees that in the wallet there are so many currency notes which are there, and he says he'll take it out and he'll say, I'll tear it apart. I'll tear it. How many of you will allow that? Paper hi hai na, just tore apart one ticket. Note, okay, theek hai. Oh, we know that this is currency. This is Lakshmi. We put it in our head and we keep it safely. Something like that. This is not stone. This is not metal. this has been invoked by the pure devotee because our material eyes can't perceive anything else. That is why they are appearing in the form of stone. They are appearing in the form of metal. God of great compassion, so that we can worship them. But they're not just stone. They're not just, some ordinary metal or something. So the knowledge of 9 cantos is enough to another misconception. This misconceptions in our mind, Atimartyani Bhagavan, is a very interesting thing. And often, you hear when you come to ISKCON temple and you hear some discourse, they will say that, you should not ask anything to the Lord. Right? You should not ask. There is a temple that we have in our Gurugram, in Noida and Gurugram. We have 2 small centers where we have Radha Vrindavan Chandra photo. And there are a lot of devotees who live close by, they go to that temple. So on Sundays, they have something like bundi laddu. We are also making special bundi laddus for Janmashtami festival, right? So the devotee over there, he says, those people who come and in Hindi they say bundi laddu ka chadhawa. So they want to chadhawa bundi laddu. He says when they give one bundi laddu to offer to the Lord, if you break open the bundi laddu, assuming it's a good size, will you be able to count how many bundis are there in that? Difficult, right? Who can count? Maybe you will be able to, it will take some time, you will be able to count. He says the desires of people are more than that bundis. One bundi laddu, they'll give it to the Lord, but they want so many these things. अरे हमने चढ़ाया, अभी चढ़ाया मतलब उसके साथ हमको भगवान देना है. In return, I want everything to come. There is an interesting pastime which happened in Krishna's book, in Krishna book, very worth paying attention. And why that happened and how that is not different from why when we are asking to the Lord, how is it different? So this is the pastime when the cowherd boys with whom Krishna goes to play in the forest. One day they asked Krishna and Balaram, there is a nice tal ban. Today morning he was talking about tal ban. Tal is palm tree. So it's a palm forest. And there are a lot of tal fruits which lie over there. But nobody ventures into that because there is a demon who lives there by name Dhenukasura. Dhenukasura is a donkey, is an ass. So he lives there and so nobody is scared. Can you get us those palms? We are very desirous. We want to have that palm. So how is it different from, we are asking any mundane desire to Krishna? How is it any different? They are also asking, they want to eat, and they are asking, how is it any different? This is something which you have to pay attention to. Actually, what we are asking, what we are demanding, we don't know what is good for us and what is really good for us. It appears like this is good and we are asking us, but it is really not good. And what those devotees, what those cowherd boys are asking is completely different. Wow, how justify this? So Sukadev Goswami says, Itham satama brahma sukhaya bhutya. Itham satama brahma sukhaya bhutya. These devotees, these cowherd boys, their only goal is how I can give pleasure to Krishna. Only goal. Of course, there is some there, they'll eat. But the whole purpose is, because they are with Krishna and Balaram together, they want to increase that enjoyment. The central point in that is how I can give enjoyment to Krishna. Itham satam brahma sukhaya bhutya. Itham satam brahma sukhaya. And Kritapunja Punja. They have done lot of pious credits, lot of this thing to become an associate of Krishna. Whereas, when we are asking to Krishna, we are asking in a manner which is meant for our sense gratification. Sense gratification per se is not bad, but Prabhupada writes brilliantly, if you read Prabhupada's purport to that chapter, sense gratification in a diseased condition is bad. Sense gratification is not bad, but we are diseased. We are in this material world. It is increasing our fever to get to have more sense gratification. Sense gratification in a diseased condition is bad. Anyway, these are all points which I gathered in this, whatever I was reading this pastimes, 2-3 beautiful pastimes. Then Krishna Balaram goes to that Talban, and then they started, shaking those palm trees, and the palm fruit started falling. Seeing this, Dhenukasura came. Dhenukasura came and he started attacking Balaram with his hind legs. Actually, the donkeys have a very peculiar habit. If they have to attack, they attack from their hind legs. They kick, basically. So Balaram held the donkey Dhenukasura by his hind legs and he started whirling it like this. And Bhagavatam mentions just by that whirling, by that centrifugal force, he died. मर गया उधर ही वो मर गया उसमें इतना जोर से हिलाया and then he threw it to the tallest palm tree and Dhenukasura died and then Dhenukasura because he fell on that palm tree so many fruits came down and then it fell on other trees and they also fell down and there were many other associates of Dhenukasura, all donkeys but different colors. Mataji is not here, Palni Mataji, but she says, burgundy, some violet, and I don't know, all those colors of donkeys were there, and they came, and Krishna and Balaram whirled all of them and threw it on top of those palm trees. They are killed. Interestingly, Balaram has killed very few demons. One of them is Dhenukasura. And Prabhupada mentions, if you read carefully, brilliant actually, this mentality of keeping things to ourselves. This is mine and I have to protect it. It's called mundane intelligence. And Dhenukasura represents mundane intelligence. Mundane intelligence you always want to keep. Ye mera hai. This is mine and I should protect, I should preserve it. So, this mundane intelligence makes us proud. Counter to that is spiritual intelligence. You see, Prabhupada freely distributed the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Something, if it is genuinely good, it has to be shared. It's not something it has to be kept secretively somewhere in some secret this thing. Actually, when Prabhupada was here in the US, there was one guru who was charging $35 for one mantra. And the mantra was whom, something like that, whom or him, something like that. For that $35. Prabhupada says, no, our Hare Krishna mantra is meant to uplift people. It is meant to Shri Shri Radha Damodar ki, Shri Shri Nitai Gaurang ki. Okay, I don't know, sorry. I thought you were closing the full thing. So Prabhupada freely distributes this. So, I was just meditating on this. There are so many interesting points. You will be surprised, in US, there is a patent for neem juice. And so this mentality that, I discovered this first, so this belongs to me, is something, this material intelligence. And with material intelligence, we can never fathom the Supreme Lord. Never. Neem juice is something which is used by Indians from ages. Neem tree we all know. But just because it is not there in science journal, the patent says if it has to be there in the science journal, it can be considered as a patent. If not, if I am the first one to do that, it belongs to me. So this mentality that, I know this and I will not share it with anyone. So that, if I share, mera chala jayega, my proprietorship will go. Spiritual knowledge is meant to be shared. It is meant to deliver people from their nations, from their suffering. It is meant. Why we will keep it some secret and this thing? Jnana Marga, actually people, they try to capture Krishna through their knowledge. This is not the case with our Bhakti Marga. Bhakti Marga, there is a lot of gratitude. There is a gratitude to, when you hear about Krishna, when you understand this process, you want to share. You want to write. Prabhupada says, I can write purport to my Bhagavad Gitas. Because there is so much to share. So much, because your heart is overflowed with joy. You want to share it with others. So, very interestingly, if you see the mood of Nanda Baba, Yashoda, cowherd boys, Radharani, all the cowherd, all the Brajavasis, including Balaram, whoever comes in touch with Krishna, they all want to become a servant. They all want to serve him. This is the mood, even if it is Nanda Baba, even if it is Yashoda Mai, they all want to become servant. Recently, when I had gone to India, my brother's daughter, she's in 5th grade or something, and she was trying to change her school. So before you get admitted to some good schools in India, there is an interview for the parents. So my brother and his wife, they went to the school, and it seems the principal asked whether your child is going to be a leader or follower. Trick question. Anyway, the answers were questions were leaked. They were also knowing, so they said leader. So apparently, out of 71, 71 of them want to become leader. At least the parents told that. Nobody wants to be a follower. In this world, if you ask somebody, you're working, right, Srivats? What is your designation? Software engineer. So you ask people, what are your designations? Director of Finance, CFO, CIO, CEO, MD. Okay. Anybody in this world who will say servant of servant of servant of servant of servant of servant of servant of? The word servant is a very demeaning one. Who wants to be a servant? We really don't know what is the bliss in serving Krishna. There's a nice pastime. The nice pastime which happened in Prabhupada's lifetime. Prabhupada had gone to Japan, and there is a printing company there called Dai Nippon. So it was all planned, the disciples had made this, fixed this meeting, and Prabhupada goes and meets there, the representatives of Dai Nippon. So there was one man who was there to receive Prabhupada. He bent like this, and then he took Prabhupada. There was a big conference room. All the big guys, they came. They gave their visiting cards to Prabhupada like this. Managing director, whatever, CIO, CFO, printing director, and all those things. And this man who had received Prabhupada also had given his visiting card. He was some marketing executive or something. So Prabhupada had kept all the visiting cards like this. After the meeting was over, since the man was very courteous, Prabhupada asked him, what's the goal of your life? So very graphically, he took those visiting cards from Prabhupada's hand, and he took his card and put it on the top. So he wants to be the, whatever, CEO, CFO, whatever it is. Nobody understands the joy of becoming servant of servant of servant of Krishna. Krishna is not that kind of a leader who says, see how much of power I have. I've played my flute, everybody came and started dancing around me. He doesn't get pleasure in that. How do we believe in this? Well, to believe in this, you see how Krishna came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, a servant of servant of servant of servant, to experience that mellow of serving Krishna. What is that experience? How Radharani is so happy serving me. How Balaram is so happy. Came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The mood of our devotional life, we have no idea, because currently, because of the state of that disease, the jaundice, we are not able to experience the sweetness, and we want to become the Lord of everything that I serve. When that changes, I become a servant of Krishna. Things change. Well, I have 7 minutes. I have a lot to cover. There are two pastimes, and I want all of you to read this. Anyway, you will not read, I know, and you will not even remember after 2 days. That is also true. But if you at all go back and read, your life will be changed. Very interesting pastime. Balaram, because he is non-different from the Lord, also gives philosophy in Krishna book. And it happens in the 65th chapter. 65th chapter is the chapter where Krishna is kidnapping Rukmini. Have you read that? Okay, Krishna is kidnapping Rukmini. Rukmini apparently wrote a love letter, to Krishna, saying that if you don't marry me, I'm ready to wait for 100 lifetimes. Essence, bahut sara hai, beautiful. Kabhi time milega, you'll see what wonderful prayers Rukmini Devi has written. She is eternal consort of Krishna. No, nothing wrong, she told. If you don't come and take me, then I will wait for 100 lifetimes. So Krishna yokes the finest horses, takes his charioteer Daruka, goes to the place. The place where she'll be kidnapped was all planned, everything was done. He goes and he is about to kidnap Rukmini. There are many things which are happening in the background. So Balaram gets to know that Krishna has gone alone, and he senses danger. So he, without being informed, without being asked, he goes. He knows where Krishna is. He goes with a full army, and he is guarding at the city. I don't remember what is that city name, Kautanyapura or something. Anyway, whatever it is. Rukmini, wherever she was supposed to be kidnapped, just at the border of that, Balaram with the full army is waiting there. Then, in the meantime, what is happening? Who's Rukmini's brother? Rukmi. Rukmi wanted Rukmini to marry to Shishupal. Shishupal, Rukmi being a close associate of Kamsa, mind, the Jaisa Sang, Vaisa Rang. So you associate with worldly people, you associate with demoniac people, you will become like them. So he wanted Rukmini to marry Shishupal. There is a verse which Rupa Goswami writes, I don't remember exactly from where, but he says, the essence of that is, Rukmini Devi says, I don't want to marry Shishupal, rather I will marry Pashupal. So C is replaced with Pa, but you may be laughing just because it is allegorically, but Pashupal means Gopal, Krishna, who's herding the cows. So rather I will marry Pashupal, that's what Rukmini says. So Shishupal attacks Krishna. Full army, and Krishna defeats everybody. Shishupal is lying. Shishupal has no intention of counter-attacking. He's accepting defeat. He goes back, and Rukmi says, "Watch out! Just watch out! I am going to get my sister and give it to you. Give her hand to you." So Rukmi comes to attack Krishna. And Rukmi comes, and anyway, Krishna for him, what is some Rukmi, this thing, that thing? Everything is finished. Everybody is finished. His, chariot is broken. Horses have died. The flag is lying down. The only thing that is there is Krishna's sword, and Rukmi is standing like this. At that time, suddenly Rukmini starts saying, "Please forgive my poor brother." Like that, she says. Don't kill him. She is eternal consort of Krishna. She's not supposed to say like this, but she says. And Krishna, instead of killing Rukmi, what he does was, he cuts his hair. Some yahan pe thoda, ऐसे some 6, 7, then आधा मूछ, आधा दाढ़ी वाड़ी ऐसे निकाल के leaves him. That time Balaram comes. And Balaram tells very wonderful philosophy. We don't have... कितना time there with Badri? 5-10 minutes थोड़ा extra. Very important, very interesting. Very beautiful, actually we know this philosophy, but we still have to hear this again. So Rukmini is being advised by Balaram, saying that, why are you having so much of compassion on that Rukmi? It's actually the Maya potency which makes us forget who we are. Because we have forgotten who we are thinking, I'm this body and this is my brother. But we are actually spirit soul, we have got nothing to do with this. And then he tells that, like in the night, you see that there is one moon, and somebody has kept 8 buckets full of water. He didn't say 8, but some X number of buckets which are there filled with water. You can see that one moon being reflected in all those buckets of water. Like that, there is one Lord, one super soul, but he is there in everybody's heart. And the third thing that he says, very interestingly, these are all very powerful things. Today is Purnima, right? How many of you saw the moon? It is anyway raining, I think you would not have been seen. But what happens, if you look at the sky on a full moon day, how does it look like? Full moon you can see, the moon is there. And on a Amavasya night, if you look at the sky, you can't see anything, right? The moon is waxing and the waning. This happens on the full moon day, you can see the full moon. And on the Amavasya day, you don't see the moon at all. Does it mean that the moon is reducing in size or increasing in size and becomes full moon or half moon? Like that, the bodies are constantly changing, but the spirit soul is constant, like the moon. For the body there is a birth and death. It grows, it goes through the decay, whatever it is, and it dies, but the soul is constant, is what he says. So why are you lamenting on this? This is what Balaram is telling to Krishna, nahi? हाँ? रुक्मिणी. पूरा पास में बैठने से भी थोड़ा ये हो जाता है. और क्वेश्चन आता है तो नहीं आना चाहिए, मेरे को नहीं आना चाहिए. आना चाहिए. नहीं आता है तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, but we should hear attentively. So Balaram is telling this to Rukmini. Rukmini was moved by that philosophy? No. He married, they went back. That's it, over. Story is over. Then you fast forward. So, there is a relationship with all, there is a link. So, how many wives Krishna had? One, somebody said 16,108. Right? 16,108 wives. From each of the wives, Krishna had 10 sons, 1 daughter. Each one of them had 10 sons. So it's a huge family, big family. And Krishna used to live with them. So Krishna's son, Pradyumna, married Rukmi's daughter. Which Rukmi? That same Rukmi who was spared. By the way, I didn't tell the little more follow-up of that. Rukmi, when he was spared by Krishna, he didn't go back to his kingdom. He stayed there in some place there, and then he gathered more people. He was thinking how to take revenge with Krishna. Anyway, Krishna's son Pradyumna was married to Rukmi's daughter, Rukmavati. And Pradyumna and Rukmavati's son is Aniruddha. Aniruddha also, for some strange reason, wanted to marry Rukmi's granddaughter. So, and marriages, the Kshatriya marriages are very interesting. And not like Brahmana marriages. Brahmana marriages, the qualification, any Brahmanas, so-called Brahmanas here? Okay. Brahmana marriages, they ask you how many mantras you know, like Kulshikar Prabhu, Purusha Sukta, Stri Sukta, then another Sukta, taka, 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 taka. You tell, then you are qualified, ho gaya sadi. But Brahmana, in the Kshatriya marriage, the real Kshatriyas anyway, nobody is there. But Kshatriya marriage is little different. So this marriage was happening, Aniruddha and Rukmi's granddaughter. Balaram was present. And then, the Kshatriyas are always, asked to have some Dyuta Krida, not Dyuta. It's whatever the Pandavas played, what is that? Gambling, it's kind of a gambling, but it's not exactly gambling. The word Vedic literature's use is called Chaturanga. In Bhagavatam it is mentioned. So Balaram was asked to play that game of dice. So Balaram, kind of chess kind of thing. So Balaram was there, and Rukmi was there because his granddaughter's marriage. Then one Rukmi's partner was there, partner in crime. I'll tell about him. And then the match started. So the first bet was, I think, something around 1,000 gold coins. So, and then whatever, chick, and then they played, and Balaram won. So, but this Rukmi and that Rukmi's associate, it's actually king of Kalinga. They both said, no, this is wrong. You didn't win, we won. So Balaram thought, I won, and they're saying I didn't win. Anyway, Balaram kept quiet. The next bet was for 100,000 gold coins. So I said, okay, check, and then they did. Again, Balaram won. And Balaram won, so those two people again shouted, no, this is not right. This is not the way to count. This is not right. Balaram, you lost. So Balaram was looking and was thinking, what's going on? Then, third time, this time 100 million gold coins. Oh, Balaram, what is that? 100 million gold coins, the Supreme Lord. He said, okay. This time also Balaram won. But then again, this time, they made a lot of commotion. No, you didn't win. We won, like that they said. There was an Akashvani which came at that time saying Balaram won. Still they didn't believe. And then this time, immediately Balaram took his mace and one stuck at Rukmi. Rukmi is dead. Finished Rukmi. Same Balaram who was, preaching to Rukmini that, this is body, this thing and all those things he was telling. One hit and, Rukmi is gone. Now the next gaze of Balaram after Rukmi is dead is towards king of Kalinga. The king of Kalinga had a peculiar thing. When he laughs, all 32 teeth can be seen. And some people laugh like that. No? Full teeth was seen. So he was laughing like that. So now he has to run for his life. Bhagavatam mentions 10 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 steps Balaram caught him. And with one mace he gave to his face. Right? So the associates over there, whoever are there, God only knows what would have happened to them. But imagine, like before the Rath Yatra, all of us, few of us, we were asked to do that coconut. We do like this 7 times again, counterclockwise, and then with full force we throw it. Like that, whatever happens, it happened to the face of that Kalinga king. There were few who were also supporting these people. the Kalinga king and the Rukmi. God only knows what happened to them. Very interestingly, in that all these things, they were thinking it's a fun frolic and some fighting this is happening, but there is a great balance in this. The wife or the lady who's getting married should know that the husband or husband's side is capable of protecting her. This is the Kshatriya spirit. So she feels, I'm very valuable. I'm being taken care of. And the boys' side, they also have to show their valor. That we are so chivalrous. We are so, we are so with the Kshatriya spirit, and we could protect our girl. In the meantime, Prabhupada brings a very interesting. Actually, you should read this. That's why I'm saying Krishna book is amazing. So Prabhupada brings one single point, very nice point. This time, Krishna better be silent. Dare not to speak. Why? If Krishna says anything, Bhaiya, this is not right, then he has to face the wrath of Balaram. And if he says, well done, Bhaiya, he has to face Rukmini. Right? Mera bhai ko maar diya, tum bol rahe well done. So Krishna better keep quiet. Then you would be thinking that Prabhupada would write out something more in the purport. But the chapter ends, so the match got ended and everything happened, the marriage happened and they went back to their places. So this is the Kshatriya spirit. Point I'm trying to say is, same Balaram, when he's not even asked for, is prepared with the army to help Krishna. Same Balaram who has got so much of potency, so much of power, just finished that Rukmini and the king of Kalinga, just like that, is available for us also. Is available. Actually, if we go and pray to Balaram, with all our shortcomings, with all our problems that we have, understand who he is. Especially the Balaram, when he comes as Nityananda Prabhu, that power which he has, it gets mixed with the compassion. He forgives all the offenses. He has the potency to release, extricate us from this material world, as well as the compassion to forgive all our mistakes and all our flaws. So when we pray to Balaram on this Balaram Jayanti with sincerity, like what he was telling in the morning, that sincerity makes a huge difference. With all sincerity, I'm a fool. I don't know really what I have to pray. There is a philosopher who says, watch out what you are praying. If they get fulfilled, it's going to be a problem. We don't know really what we are praying. So if we pray to Balaram on this auspicious day and say that, oh Lord Balaram, please give me the spiritual strength, the intelligence, so that I don't take birth again in this material world, then our life will be successful. That's why it is mentioned, Nayam Atma Balahinena Labhya. Nayam Atma Balahinena Labhya is a verse from Mundaka Upanishad. Atma Balahinena Labhya. I can't worship, I can't get the Supreme Lord by my own Bala. Nayam Atma Balahinena. It's impossible. The Atma here is referring to the super soul or the Supreme Lord. Nayam Atma Balahinena Labhya. By my own strength, I can't do this. I need the mercy. And Balaram as Nityananda Prabhu is extremely compassionate, extremely. So if we pray, even though we have all problems, all anarthas, all the unwanted things in the heart, he will still listen and he will forgive us and he'll give us the necessary spiritual intelligence and strength to come out of this cycle of birth and death. We'll stop here. There are many interesting things. I skipped at least 3-4 things, but these are some of the things when you meditate on this Prabhupada's books and see this in the right perspective, it gets revealed. It's so interesting. If you see actually in material world and spiritual world, there is not much difference. The only difference we also want to enjoy here, in spiritual world there is actual enjoyment. It's the attitude of enjoying independently, which needs to change to attitude of serving Krishna. If that attitude we develop and we go back home, back to Godhead. We'll stop here. Balaram Jayanti Maha Mahotsav ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.